Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Painter killed in vehicular crash in St. James. As St. James painter has died from injuries he sustained in a vehicular collision along the Coral Gardens main road in Montego Bay, St. James on Thursday afternoon. The deceased has been identified as 39-year-old Marvin McKay of Flanker, also in St. James. The Coral Gardens police say about 3:30 p.m., McKay was riding a motorcycle with no registration plate affixed towards Flanker from the direction of Trelawney. On reaching the Coral Gardens and Half Moon Shopping Village intersection, McKay collided with a Toyota Hilux motor truck which was turning onto Half Moon Street. McKay sustained severe head injury and body injury and was killed on the spot. Face-to-face classes to resume at Unity Primary in Trelawney. Face-to-face teaching is expected to resume at the Unity Primary School in Trelawney on Monday after classes were forced to go online due to poor road conditions in areas arising from recent flooding. Community groups came together to clear a road that will serve as an alternative road to access the school. Help to cut overhanging trees and shrubs was provided by a member of the Jamaica Defense Force base in Montego Bay, St. James. The school's principal, Marilyn Salmon, says she is pleased that in-person teaching can resume. "I am happy that we'll be able to return to face-to-face teaching. There are 60 students who were left out of the online teaching. They will now come to school and not fall too far behind," Salmon stated. Cops charged over alleged assault of inmate at police lockup. 2 members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force were charged and taken before the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court on Thursday over the alleged assault of an inmate at a police lockup last March. Woman Corporal Karen Cunningham was charged with assaulting occasional bodily harm, contrary to common law, while District Constable Brandon Clark was charged with assaulting occasionally grievous bodily harm, contrary to Section 20 of the Offences Against the Person Act. These charges were as a result of an investigation by the Independent Commission of Investigations Indicom and a ruling by the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. Indicom says they were charged in relation to the assault of a man while he was in custody at the Kingston-based police lockup. The incident occurred on March 11, 2021 during an altercation between the complainant and the cops. According to Indicom, medical reports of the complainant indicated fractured tooth which required an extraction. The matter was set for mention on November 10. All concerned parties were bound over. Man gunned down at Rocky Point Fishing Village. The Clarendon police are investigating the murder of a fisherman who was gunned down at the fishing village in Rocky Point on Thursday night. He has been identified as 22-year-old Jerome Ricketts, also known as Slow Brain, of Regent Street in Rocky Point. It is reported that about 8:30 p.m., Ricketts was at a bar in the area when armed men entered and opened gunfire, hitting him in the upper body. The attackers then escaped on foot in the area. The police were summoned, and on their arrival, Ricketts was seen suffering from gunshot wounds. He was taken to the Lionel Town Hospital where he was pronounced dead. The police are trying to nab a suspect whom they understand recently returned from prison. Sources say Ricketts' murder is suspected to be a reprisal for his alleged involvement in the murder of the suspect's brother. The police say they have raised their defense level, citing the possibility of reprisals and confrontations in Rocky Point and surrounding communities. A total of 69 people have been murdered in Clarendon since the start of the year. The figure shows 11 fewer homicides when compared to 80 murders for the corresponding period last year. Jamaica on alert for contaminated cough syrups. The Ministry of Health and Wellness has reported that Jamaica is on alert for contaminated cough syrups that the World Health Organization (WHO) has warned may be linked to the death of 66 children in the African country of Gambia. At the same time, the Health Ministry says the possibility of the items entering Jamaica is remote. Our records indicate that neither the manufacturer nor the product is registered with the Ministry of Health and Wellness, said Portfolio Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton in a statement yesterday. Additionally, our pharmacovigilance system has already alerted the Standards and Regulation Division of the Ministry, and our Import Permit Department is monitoring all donations and personal imports to further reduce the risk of the product entering the country, Tufton added. According to the Medical Product Alert issued by WHO on Wednesday, to date, the stated manufacturer has not provided guarantees to the WHO on the safety and quality of these products, the alert said. While the contaminated products have so far only been detected in Gambia, they may have been distributed to other countries, WHO stated. It also said it is pursuing investigations with the company and regulatory authorities in India. WHO recommends all countries detect and remove these products from circulation to prevent further harm to patients, it stated. Kingston Technical student remanded on murder charge. The 17-year-old Kingston Technical High School student charged with murder was remanded in the Kingston and St. Andrew Family Court on Friday. The 11th grader, who is charged with the death of her schoolmate, Riscon Campbell, will return to court on November 9, 2022. Campbell, 16, was stabbed to death at the school last week. It was reported that about 2:45 p.m., both students were at school when a dispute developed between them. The altercation turned into a fight. During the fight, it is alleged that Campbell was stabbed to the left side of her neck and the left side of her forehead. The other student received injuries to her left wrist. Both students were taken to the Kingston Public Hospital, where Campbell succumbed to her injuries and was pronounced dead, and the other student was treated and released into the custody of the police. Call for police record hurdle for high school teachers. A government lawmaker has strongly suggested that the requirement for early childhood educators to produce a police record before obtaining employment be expanded to include teachers at the secondary level. Minister without portfolio in the office of the Prime Minister, Floyd Green, on Thursday told colleague legislators on a joint selected committee reviewing the Jamaica Teaching Council Act 2022 that persons seeking employment in other sectors are required to produce a police record. If you're going to join the police force, you have to get a police record. If you're going on the farmer program, you have to have a police record. We have to start afresh with this thing, Green contended. A former state minister in the Ministry of Education, Green, suggested that the cost to obtain a police record should not be a factor because educators in the early childhood sector were compensated at a lower pay scale but are required to satisfy the policy requirement. He insisted that the concept of the low level of remuneration of early childhood educators is not a consideration because, in order to interact with the children, they have to show that they do not have a criminal record. Green recommended that teachers who are already in the system not be forced to produce a police record when the proposed Jamaica Teaching Council Act takes effect. However, he said that it should be a requirement for new teachers entering the profession. Committee Chairperson Favor Williams agreed with Green's proposal, while Senator Lambert Brown indicated that he would not take a position on that proposal at this time. St. Catherine South East Member of Parliament Robert Miller said he was in full agreement with the suggestion for teachers entering the profession to furnish a police record. If someone is going to teach our children, we want to ensure that they are safe in the hands of that person's care, and we want to ensure that a police record is presented when the person is entering, Miller said. The Teachers Colleges of Jamaica, TCJ, which made a submission to the committee earlier this year, urged lawmakers to create a level playing field for criminal background checks to be done on all persons employed at any level of the education system. This will give all members of our society the assurance that persons will not be employed at any level of the educational system. Antecedents suggest a propensity to do harm to others, students, fellow teachers, staff, parents, guardians, or other visitors to our school, the group stated. The TCJ made the observation that the Early Childhood Commission was criticized in the partisan report for having altered the validity of police reports to suit the 5-year license period of teaching license. Our recommendation is that a current, valid police record be provided in support of each application for registration, license, and authorization the group submitted. Students benefit from educational programs in St. Ann. Member of Parliament MP for St. Ann Northwestern Crystal Lee says hundreds of students benefited from several educational programs that were undertaken in the constituency. She was addressing the State of Constituency debate in the House of Representatives recently. Through the Constituency Development Fund (CDF), we were able to contribute towards educational upliftment of many. Over 600 students received book vouchers, 35 students received tablet devices, and there were 55 territory grants. With additional support from charities, we provided over 2,500 backpacks and school supplies and contributed over $500,000 to the development of 2 new classroom spaces at the Brownstown Infant School, she said. Lee added that the new classrooms will assist the institution towards getting certified by the Early Childhood Commission. She noted that through sponsorship, over 800 back-to-school medicals were facilitated free of cost to parents. We endeavor to meet the welfare of our people, those in need of assistance and support, with funeral grants, purchasing of medical supplies, medical services, housing assistance, and food supplies, she said. Meanwhile, she joined her parliamentary colleagues in asking for a review of the CDF. She argued that the need for support in various areas of human and infrastructural development remains relatively high. In most cases in my office, we are only able to meet 5 to 10% of the request that comes in each year. The CDF was developed through extensive research and policy. 15 years ago, it was conceptualized that members of parliament will allocate 40 million to assist in their community development activities. Fast forward to now, members of parliament are allocated 20 million. It is inconceivable that 20 million, which is half the amount, would be able to cover what was conceptualized then, she said. The CDF seeks to improve the effectiveness of members of parliament as a designated funding mechanism for constituency projects. The main thrust of the fund is to promote human and infrastructure development at the community and constituency levels through the establishment of sustainable development projects. This will be done by streamlining economic activities at the constituency level, fostering local governance, including good environmental stewardship, improving service delivery, and bringing government and the public closer together and increasing the effectiveness of the elected representative. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell